Redding is a beautiful place. We have national parks in 3 different directions, 2 world-class lakes. This is a sportsman's paradise, but it's also full of wonderful people. We have business leaders, community leaders, faith-based leaders, all of them working towards a singular goal, and that's to make this a great place to live. I wanted to showcase these people, give their perception of the place that they call home. This is allredding.
I'm excited to sit down with Assemblywoman Heather Hadwick and just have a conversation about our district, something we're both passionate about and about representing as well. The really cool thing, I think, for me is that I got to meet Heather the very first time she was talking in public. We were at Market Street. Mm-hmm. It was the first time. And so I got told by our friends, the Dallies, hey, you need to go support and go see this young lady, and this is what she's going to do. Okay, great. Whatever you say. And I think it was your first time, like, speaking in public.
Yes, sharing all my beliefs and on the trail. Yes, it was.
So it's been really fun to watch you go from that to this super tenacious, do it your own way kind of lady out there running things. So it's been inspiring to watch.
It's been quite the adventure.
Yeah, I bet. And so kind of it leads me into, like, one of my first questions. What has that been like? You know, I mean, going from, am I going to do this, and raising funds from friends and people in our district, and then doing this, and then family life, kind of, how's that felt?
It's still very surreal. I still, like, drive into the Capitol every day, and I can't believe I get to work here. And it truly is an honor. It sounds corny, but it really is an honor to feel like you're really helping where you live. And I grew up in Siskiyou County. I live in Modoc.
Right.
I love where I live. I want my kids and my grandkids, future grandkids, to come and live here and be able to stay and thrive. And we just finished year 1. It was a big adjustment for my family.
It's only been a year.
It's only been a year. I know. I got my first gray hair too, which is very depressing.
Watch out. And when there's 2, they rub together and make babies.
Yeah, right? I'm very nervous about that. But it's been wonderful. It's been great. It's a lot of work, hardest job I've ever had. And OES is a pretty intense job that I had done before. And I taught kindergarten. And this is it's very similar to teaching kindergarten, I have to say. But
do you want to say in what ways?
It's just, you use a lot of the same phrases, like, hey, let's use our words, or be kind, or don't bite your neighbor, you know, like that kind of thing.
Fair.
You know,
that's fair.
A lot of those same just life lessons that people should learn in kindergarten that often don't when they're in the Capitol.
Correct.
So,
what has surprised you the most about working in the Capitol?
I think the divide, the party divide, that I wasn't prepared for that. And it really is a divide. And I think it's like the pendulum swinging. We had 26 people in my class that came in, the freshman class, they call it. Okay. And 6 of them were Republicans, 20 Dems.
That means new people to the seats.
Yeah, everybody learning.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are very moderate. So
whether Republican or Democrat, you feel like they're moderate?
No, on the Democrat side. Okay. And I think that, like, changes it. There's a lot of things that we can agree on, and but it's really hard for them to stand up against something. So I always think, if you see people that there's only a few no's on either side, you know, if they're really voting their district, commend them, like, send them a thank you, because that is a hard thing to do, to stand up to your peers and say, no, this isn't good for my district, or yes, this is good for my district, but it might go against what the party has to say. So, and that's been happening more and more. And I think really we should all be there for the people that we represent, you know, and some of the games and theater I could do without. But that divide I wasn't ready for. And then I knew it was going to be a challenge with, like, rural versus urban. Yeah. But is so much more. There's 80 of us in the assembly, 40 of them are from, like, LA, San Diego, 20 of them from the Bay Area, and then there's 20, like, random seats in the middle.
And that doesn't mean those are rural either.
No. So every other rural member, like, so Redding's my biggest city, and then my second biggest is Grass Valley.
And Redding forgets we're not that big.
Yeah, and it's a small city, right? Yeah. So the other rural members have like Fresno or, Tulare, like big places with a lot of industry and booming economies. And so it's just a little bit different. And geographically, they're not as isolated as some of my counties. So I have 11 counties, which is crazy. It's the biggest district in the state.
Right.
It takes 12 hours corner to corner. I just bought tires again. and I'm like, how many miles did I drive? Because I feel like I was just here.
Are you tracking that?
Oh, they track it at Big O Tires. So I'm like, how many miles did I drive? 52,000 miles in 14 months.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Well, and like, you should speak to that a little. One of the things that's always like surprising to me is in these little tiny districts, they'll get a same team as you do. Mm-hmm. And so remind me, how many offices, how many people do you have to cover this big district?
So we get 2 offices. We have one in Jackson in Amador County at the south end, and then one in Redding with 2 people. Our Jackson office has 1, and then I have 4 people in the Capitol. I get the same staff as everyone else. I actually have less staff than some people, which I'm fighting for.
Yeah.
And some people have 3 offices, and they don't have nearly as big of a district. So we're also fighting for a 3rd office right now.
So it means like above Redding, there's other
nothing.
Office.
Nothing. So even if I put like 6 offices in my district, you'd still have to drive 2 hours. Or you'd still have communities driving 2 hours, which is crazy. Like some people's districts are only 20 minutes long, like wide. Like
they can see everybody.
Yes. Like I always tease James Gallagher because his is 45 minutes, like in any direction. But we have the same travel budget. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
No, that's wild.
But it does make it very unique. And it blows my colleagues' minds. Like they can't even fathom.
Even put it into their
because so we love to bring people here. That's like our favorite thing is bring people to the district, show them. We live in such a beautiful place. We are so blessed.
Agreed.
So bringing them here and letting them see it. It's
in 1 year. How many people have you been able to bring up? What does that look like?
Oh, so I think 18, 20, somewhere in there.
Okay.
We do a few tours. Some people are the same people that come, depending on the tour. The Forestry tour is definitely the most famous. We usually do it in Siskiyou County. This year, we're going to Lake Almanor and doing it over in Chester.
Okay.
But we bring them up and we go into the forest and we talk about wildfire. We talk about treating forests. We talk about the timber industry. It's very, very famous and like coveted down there. Like people want the invitation and and it's a fun one.
Is that something like you have to do or that's something that just somebody started?
So they've been doing it for 30 years. So, and Dolly's really made it popular. And then so whoever's in my seat gets to host it, which is really fun.
Okay.
So then we...
And I would imagine you partner with like Sierra Pacific or somebody to make that happen. Yes.
So Sierra Pacific's one of the big sponsors. Cal Forests, Humboldt Redwood. There's a bunch of them that help. But it's so enlightening for them. Like they've never seen... Well, last year nobody had been north of Sacramento that we brought. Yeah. Crazy, right?
That's
I can't even imagine.
Half the state. I mean, that's a good portion of the state that you've never seen.
And they had most of them never been in a forest, never seen a mountain. And we like fly into the base of Mount Shasta. Yeah. They saw a deer. One of them called it a reindeer, and I still make fun of him for that. But
I love it.
They saw bald eagles for the first time.
Oh.
They had never seen a river. Like a natural river because they live in LA and it's like canals. So everything's cement. And I can't even imagine. So like seeing it through their eyes really makes you like just value even more.
Yeah.
What a blessing it is. I mean, we live in the most beautiful part of the state.
Agreed. Agreed.
Completely.
Maybe the country.
Yeah,
if
I agree.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's coveted. They want to come. It's beautiful. What do you feel like it does to change anything for the North State?
So I think, one, it helps us build relationships outside of the building because it's chaos and busy and you're running the whole time you're there. And so this gives us time to just chat, talk, break bread, have a glass of wine, whatever. And then we break it down and teach them. Like they bore a tree. They see what goes on. We go to a logging site. Sometimes they get, we didn't let them run the chainsaw. That might get a little scary, but they pose with the chainsaw. But it really does change them. Like the chair of natural resources came last year, and he came back and ran 3 really good forestry bills.
Really?
And so
And had he never been
no,
to a forest?
he was an oil guy. So,
Okay.
so
So
he
you could
was
be
there.
head of something and really never
Yeah,
take
that
part.
actually happens more than it should down there. But it really does change their minds, and they talk about it all the time. Jose, one of the guys that was here last year, he talked about it in committee this week, and so did the chair of natural resources. They all they keep speaking about it. So
it's like,
it
what other
does
hands-on
really
thing
help.
can we give
yes,
them?
I'm like,
right?
the problem is getting them here because they also don't drive. So
like long distance.
long distances. No, like I rent a house like 10 miles from Sacramento because I have to stay down there during the week.
Okay.
And it takes me like 25, 30 minutes
And
to
they
get to the
probably think
Capitol.
you're crazy.
They think I'm nuts. Why would I drive that far? And I'm like, well, my alternative is I go home every night for it's 6 hours. So
that's so interesting because I used to work in the Bay Area, and you'd commute in on BART, right? It'd be like an hour and a half each way. I thought people in the city are used to, but now I could drive an hour and a half and I'm somewhere beautiful.
Yes.
I think it's a great trade. I'm I'm fine with driving 20 minutes somewhere.
They
whole
their
different
time is very
perspective.
precious. Yeah. So, and I'm very grateful if they will come because that's time they're not spending in their district, right? They're coming to my district. They're learning, and it's totally valuable for them to be there. But that's time they're probably turning down an event in their district to come, and vice versa. So I wasn't going out of district much before because I was like, no, like I have 11 counties. It's too hard. I already feel bad if I can't go somewhere. Yeah. And I do like my family and want to spend time with my family too.
Yeah.
It's definitely not enough these days, but I am trying to go on those tours more just to learn.
To go see their districts.
Yeah. And like I got invited to sit to a Waymo car ride and I had turned it down. And
I get scared.
And I'm like,
I see them and I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, and that's
so good.
exactly how I was.
Did
and
you get in one?
I'm like, no, we're not going to have that. I don't have to worry about that. But I want them to worry about rural things. And so I'm like, I didn't do it this year. I'm going to do it. Or I didn't do it last year.
That makes sense. So there's bills, there's things that need to be passed for those that are going to be rules and regulations about those. And if you don't know anything about it, how are you going to help? And
it's the same thing I'm trying to ask them. Like, hey, I need you to care about my district too. Yeah. And learn about it. So I changed
changed your tune.
Yes. And
how does that feel though? Because there's been for years people who are like, I don't see my representative up here enough in this huge area. And I know your heart has been like, well, I'm going to be seen.
Yes,
but
I really tried.
Then understanding I also have to be in Sacramento, and then if you want me to represent you well, I also need to go on these tours.
To New York. I went to New York for a weekend. That's crazy.
Yeah, and you're like, well, what'd you do in New York? There was things there to learn to represent our area. What were you doing in New York?
It was a the National Retailers Association. So we went and it was very cool. We got to tour Macy's and we did a lot of retail theft and security and learned about that. I had no idea the amount of technology that is involved in retail. It's crazy. So it was fascinating.
You scared to go shopping?
Not so much. I'm actually proud of them for figuring out ways to combat the theft, you know? Yeah. And then we talked a lot about sustainability and textiles and tariffs and what's going on worldwide because it's everything that happens in the world affects the clothing industry. And I realized I shop entirely too much. But and then we looked at their workforce pathways programs, and they have some amazing programs that I didn't know about. We went to a Best Buy Tech Teen Center, and they have a whole makers station that's an after school program run by kids, and they pay for everything, and these kids have a safe place to go. And they had a studio, they had 3D printers, they had all these cool things that I'm like, hey, we have a Best Buy in Reading.
We do.
Yeah. I talked to the CEO.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So yeah, and we toured Old Navy, and I got to have lunch with the CEO of Old Navy and Hugo Boss and all these people that is completely random, but they're fascinated with where I live. Really? Because, and I was like, well, I only have one Old Navy store in my district in 11 counties. And they're like, what? Yeah. I said, but if you looked, you would be amazed at how many, online orders we have and delivery. And we talked a lot about delivery and access. And it was So it was all good. I learned a lot.
Well, because if you're somewhere like Reading, who we always hear things like, oh, we have the third tier Macy's, or you always hear these things, right? But the truth is, unless you go have relationship, how would we ever get on the radar of like, oh, actually, Reading's important. What could we do there, right? Or could we have one of these Best Buy centers here?
Yeah, and they had like career pathways, and they do scholarships, and like they're trying to keep their people in the company and into management and into marketing and all the other jobs that are there.
Right.
But it was fascinating, and I went because a couple colleagues were going that had bills, and I needed to talk to them. So it also coops us up on a tour bus where
they have to listen to you.
where they have to listen to me. Like
That's
those
amazing.
kind of things too. They're all there's
more relationship than we realize.
Yeah. Oh man, so much relationship.
Yeah.
That's all of it. Truly.
I think the first time I really realized it is I had become friends with Megan and Brian, and they were at my house on a voting night. And I'm just thinking, are we watching them win or you win, right? And then when they're like, oh, I'm going to get a new colleague in that seat. Oh, I'm going to get, and you go, oh, they spent years creating that relationship and creating that relationship.
Yeah.
Now that colleague's gone. And so it actually matters to you guys how people vote.
Yeah, everywhere.
Because you're building relationship and you're working on things with those people. And the next thing you know, they're gone.
Yeah.
And you got to start over.
And you had somebody that you could really work with, and then you might not the next term.
They might not be as reasonable.
Yes. So, and you just never know. You truly don't know. So I try to connect something with all of them. And luckily I have Highland cows, and that is an easy connector. Everybody loves them. It's so crazy, but that does like that makes people remember me. And everybody loves them. So they talk about it, but we actually bring them down to the Capitol for Ag Day.
That's right. Does everybody want to take pictures with them?
Oh, yes. They come cuddle them and do selfies. They all talk about it all the time. And then we bred them earlier, so we have babies this year because last year she was supposed to have her baby by then. Okay. And she was super pregnant and like 7 days overdue.
You're like, I need early babies for the Capitol Day.
Yes. Yeah. We're breeding on that. Okay. Not on winter, because my husband's like, oh, yeah, we're going to have babies in February. Good job. Hopefully it's not a blizzard. But we thought she'd have the baby on the way down there, because usually the stress of moving would make her. And nope, it was another week after. She was a trooper, but everybody thought she was going to have a baby, and she was hot because it's hot there and it's cold where I live.
Oh yeah, that's a big climate change.
Big climate change. So they were like, they weren't hot, but they were breathing, and they're like, she's in labor. I'm like, no, she's not. But I really hope she has the baby down here.
All the people at the Capitol were trying to tell
thought,
you.
Oh,
You're
they,
like,
yeah,
I clearly raised cows.
And they all thought she was in labor, and I'm like, well, I really hope she has it here because we have wolves. Have you heard about our wolf problem? But it gave me that opportunity
to talk about the wolves.
Yes, and we had actually that week before we'd had to kill like a mile from our house. So and they all check on her all the time. And they named her Callie for California.
Oh, I love it.
And so now they all ask, and they're like, "You're bringing."
You need to have a cow cam.
We actually talked about that. My husband thinks it's crazy.
Oh,
he also thinks it's crazy to bring them there. He says we're not the circus, but we kind of are. I mean,
so we weren't going to talk about the wolves too much, but we'll do a quick. Yeah. We'll do a quick because it is important.
It is. It's.
I think that you being from where you're from and having that, like, I'm from Reading, and I could not represent rural the way you do, even though I'm from our district, right? And so the fact that you can bring this matter to them and bring understanding in a different way is really, really important. From having the cows down there, do you think that you have gotten a different response to what's going on with the wolves?
I do. I think making it real for them. I talk about them every day. It's our number one issue. That and fire insurance is our number one, and the DMV. Everybody hates the DMV, but that's like all of our calls.
California
Probably,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think connecting it and making it real for them is really what helps. I show the pictures because I wake up to pictures almost every day, and they were calling me the queen of death on the floor because I had these horrible pictures. Like, no, I don't want to look at your phone, and I'm like, but this is real. Like, this is what these people are dealing with every day, and how I talk more about the emotional loss and like the mental health part of it because it's so stressful and it's so helpless. I mean, I'm in the seat and I feel helpless, so I can't imagine how helpless the rancher feels, and
Yeah.
driving around all night trying to make sure that.
And it's your livelihood.
It is.
It's the animal.
Yeah.
It's all of
Yeah.
that, and it's your livelihood
Yeah.
and your family legacy. A lot of times, fourth, fifth generation.
Yeah, and you've been breeding this herd for however long. I mean, one of my friends, they've had this herd for 100 years. You can't just go buy another black cow. Like, that's not how this works. So I have made it my mission. Like, I'm going to teach them. I'm going to show them. I'm going to bring them as much as I can. I'm going to bring the country to them as much as possible. Like that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because that urban versus rural divide is crazy.
Yeah. And we in Redding, and I might get the flack, but I'm like, we like to think we're cowgirls like twice a year, like rodeo, and like there's a couple other things. Like, yeah, we definitely think we are. But then like the more I visit, like, well, with the Dallies or go up to the Bernie or Fall River or like go up there, I still know I'm still not even as far out as you guys. Like, it's still not even that same life. So it's a totally different
and I
thing.
think we're still rural. Like, we're still small. We're still small enough to have that like community feel and that.
You can still make a difference. You can still be part of things here.
Redding, you still know somebody when you go to the store, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think like these other communities are more like frontier rural.
Yeah.
Because they're just so isolated in their location too. And there's actually not a definition of rural.
Yeah.
Every sector has a different definition and a different.
I fight
which
that
is
in
crazy.
mortgage. I fight that in mortgage because we'll get told like, oh, that house is rural, and I'm like, it's in a neighborhood, and they're like, yeah, on 2 acres. I'm like, well, to us that's not rural. Like, what are you talking about? So there's no real.
No, and schools have a different definition. Hospitals have a different definition.
Right.
So that's something we've been looking at for a long time. But
that's
it's
part of the
just
struggle,
so hard.
right? So like we are not the smallest. However, we still do have the same struggles that I think some of us would put under rural, which is like education, healthcare, like those kind of things.
Yeah.
Which do you feel if they had a rural frontier, like a title, it would help?
I think it would help some because it would open up funding, but it also will close off some funding because it would depend on it's really hard to decide. That's probably why there's no definition. But I think where Redding is unique is and my urban counterparts do not understand either, is you guys are surrounded by rural. So you guys are the hub. So not only are you supporting the 100,000 people that are here, you're supporting the entire North State with specialty healthcare, with the mall, with Costco, with
I was thinking Costco right away. I'm like, everybody comes down.
I'm picking all of the stops I make when I come through.
We have an urban swell. Like that's why we have a
you guys are the
daytime
hub.
swell. And then if you think about it too, then our law enforcement has a swell that's like beyond what a little city should be taken care of, right? Yeah, they don't understand.
No, and that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
Which is why I tend to give a lot of attention to Redding because there's a lot of things. We do so many things good in the North State, and I think that's been one of the most fun parts of my job is I get to brag a lot, and it's not something I thought about.
Yeah.
So the transformative care model that the governor or they are doing the rural healthcare funding. So California's going to get $233 million for rural hospitals. Okay. That transformative model came from the health clinic network in Redding.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which
because all of them. So they work together and they collaborate. And
so between like the hill countries and the Chess
and out into the other counties, like they have this network where they know what's going on in each of their, and they know who has what and what resources. Yeah. And from that, they've created this state model that will go
instead of staying in their silos. They work with each other.
Yeah. So, and Redding's often the hub for it's the regional technical assistance for community schools. It's, whatever sector it is, they're doing it right, and we are small enough that we know the players, so we can make change happen fast.
True.
But big enough to make an impact. Yeah. And so that part, that is not happening everywhere.
It's really fun to hear that when Redding's in the middle of a budget issue,
Right.
right? And when it's
Yes.
like, oh,
Yeah.
and it feels
Yeah.
so, because you could give into a lot of what it feels like,
Yeah.
you know, the negative,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of positive.
There is a lot of positive. Like
Yeah.
we do a lot of things in all of the counties that are great. And we've been doing it forever, like out of survival and necessity and stretching our dollar as far as it can possibly be. I actually tease that if I'm like, just let 81 have the budget, the state budget for a year.
And we could
we
run it
would have
correctly.
it whipped because we know how to stretch our dollar. We think outside the box. And we have people that do amazing things here. And
You
when
have a
you
point
have
there.
that like human capital with that much talent and that heart, that's something you can't like teach people. You can't teach people to love where you live.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
that's just,
We
it's
do.
either,
I feel like the North State really, really does.
We love where we live.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the things that everybody comments when I bring them up here. Is they talk about that and the generations that are doing, you know, the logging company we went to was generational, SPI generational, like all these things that we exposed them to. They do realize that we care and this is our livelihood and our legacy, and not just a business or
makes
just
sense. There's a, you know, I've seen a lot lately right now. I'm helping a lot of, actually this last year in lending, out of like 60 clients I helped, 30, like half were in their 20s. I had a 19-year-old just close on his first house. And I look at that and I go, people want to stay here.
Yeah.
That's people's kids,
wanna
their nieces
invest,
and
yeah.
nephews. They're like, I'm going to stay here. I love the North State. And that to me, when I was talking about those numbers with the VP of our company, they're like, it's actually not normal. What do you think's going on? And I'm like, these are hardworking, and they all, kind of to your point, are like young loggers, young firefighters, young nurses. They're like our tradespeople. They're hardworking, and they're like, I'm willing to invest and stay here.
Well, and we've been investing in them for a while now, right? So I think we have this grow your own mentality with rural, and we have to, because we won't survive if we don't. You know, our populations are not necessarily booming in most of my counties, you know. So, but I think, like, I always told my kids, I want you to go. I want you to see the world, go, and then I want you to have the wings to go and fly, but I want you to have the roots to come back home.
Yeah, and a lot of them
when
aren't.
that is,
We're seeing that too.
And we're seeing, which is great. Like they go to school, they go work in the city, whatever, and then come back and raise their families here because they love it, and they have that connection and that community, that sense of community, and that's not normal. So,
Interesting.
and I wasn't expecting that.
I guess I wouldn't think about it or realize
it. But in the cities, they don't know their neighbors necessarily, or
the more rural you get, the more you know your neighbors.
Yes, yeah.
You even know. One time I was at somebody's house and I'm like, the guy's like, I hear so-and-so's tractor coming. And I'm like, how'd you know like that was his tractor? Like they know. Or so-and-so's snowmobile. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
How do you know
As
that?
a mom of teenagers, I really appreciate it.
That everybody knows everybody?
Yes, yeah. My youngest is a senior now, and I tell him all the time, you live in a bubble. Like
I will know.
Yes, and I'll know before you know.
So speaking of being a mama, tell me what that's been like for, like, you know, you haven't had to travel like this. It's probably been very different for the last year.
It is. It's hard. I haven't missed a lot, but it's like it's my son's senior year, so there's some things like I drove home on a Tuesday at 6:00 at night and got home at midnight, and then served 100 people breakfast for senior sunrise at my house, you know, like those little things I didn't want to miss. So, and then I was back on the road by 8 a.m. So it's a lot of driving to not miss. But
are you being healthy? Are you taking care of yourself?
I am.
Like that's a lot.
Yes, it is a lot though. I really need a helicopter, but we can't afford it.
I'm like, so we need to raise funds for that next.
Or teleporting. Teleporting would be even better.
That'd be good. We'll just put, remember those bank things? You'd stick things in and put you in a tube. We'll just stick you in one of those.
That would work. But it's hard. But they're also like my biggest fans, so it's kind of cool. He would kill me for telling the story, but my youngest Zach just did extemporaneous speaking for FFA, and his speech was about how rural doesn't have a voice in politics, and then he talked about me fighting for rural and like, I almost cried when he, I'm going to get all, and I'm not an emotional person, but he, like, it was just like, oh, he's listening. Because sometimes when they're 17, you do not feel like
and you're like, my son sees me and he sees what I'm doing. And
and he gets it. And that's where, like, it's a sacrifice for the families.
That's what we're doing it for, too, though.
Yeah, it is. Because I want him to move back here and be able to start a life here. My oldest is in Nebraska.
That's right.
And he's paying $1.95 for gas, which is really annoying.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he always talks about, like, his meal at Taco Bell there is $7.20 something cents, and then he gets here and it's like $15. So, like, just that he can start a life there way easier.
Yes, I do.
And he can buy a house for $75,000. And, that's not something we can offer him here, but we have us. And I hope that's enough.
Do you think there's ways to change that? Do you think there's...
I do. I think the affordability crisis has hit and the pendulum has swung, and both sides know it's an issue now. I think we've been working to change that for a while.
Both sides need to really realize it.
Both sides need to realize it. Yeah. So I think we're going to see a lot of things this year that, especially in housing, I think there's going to be a lot more innovation and some. It sounded like there was going to be some funding for developers and like people to start up factories, that kind of thing. Yeah. I actually went on a housing tour in Boise because I'm on the select committee of housing innovation and construction. They always have fancy names for all this stuff. Yeah. And I went up there because we have a modular home factory here in Redding. Okay. We have two.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And so I went up there to Boise with my colleagues to make sure that they all knew that we have a couple in California.
We do.
Yeah. And they're doing wonderful things. And they actually invited them to an informational hearing. It was great.
Yeah.
But 90% of their projects from the 3 plants that we went to come to California. There's no reason we should not have that here.
No, and I think some of the ones here, if you're talking about like offsite and like, and like, but they ship to like Hawaii. I'm like, okay,
everywhere.
How do we not know enough about them here? That's so interesting.
So I think you're going to see a shift to that. My colleagues went to Sweden because I guess Sweden cured their housing crisis with this modular, and it was very cool. It was very
they're really awesome.
Oh, it was so cool, and it's. For our, especially my counties, like the 11 counties I have, we have pretty extreme weather.
Yes.
Like you guys don't have the winters here, but you have the heat.
Yes.
So, usually in construction, they're outside all the time, where this is all in a factory and it's year-long work.
Factory.
Yeah. And it's not as hard on their bodies. It's not, it's just, it's more steady work instead of seasonal work.
Yeah.
And then those specialty trades still get to do the finish work, and they're producing more, so it's actually more work.
Yeah.
Or more
and you can bring
opportunity
those
for
jobs
work.
all to this hub.
Yeah.
What would you say to people? So, like, one of the things I feel like people say, I mean, then there's insurance, right? That's a whole bag to look through. Yeah. Some people have this like, hey, they're trying to push us into town. Like, do you think with the answers to housing that it will still be possible to be rural, to be affordable and be out a little ways? Because that's one of the things I hear is like, well, I guess, between PG&E and insurance and this and that, I can't live out here. But that was the whole point, is I wanted to live out here.
Yeah, it used to be that your house was considerably less and your bills were less. And I can tell you it's not cheaper to live out, especially where I live.
No, so people feel pushed into town. And I'm like, how is it possible for us to do this?
I think we need both. Like, they need us as much as we need them. Like, we need those urban centers to, we need the industry, the industrial areas and the factories and all of that. They need us to grow their food, and their food's food, and and make sure
their food's food. I like that one.
and make sure that their water, their watersheds are taken care of, and the lands are managed, and so they need us too. I don't think they realize that. So I think that's where that education piece.
It is intriguing.
Is key too.
So my son went to Chico State, and a friend of his had grown up in the Bay Area, and he came up to Float Hat Creek with us. And I'm not kidding. There's a fish swimming underneath him in his tube, and he goes, "That's what fish look like in like water,
alive."
Yeah, it was like, I mean, all of us were like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? It was really, really wild. And, I don't know. You're like, how does that not compute, or not understanding water, or not understanding? So it's not even just the people you're bringing on tours. It's a bigger.
It is, and
It's a bigger voting. Those are the
the
voters,
voters,
right? They've
yeah.
never seen it.
No, like,
How do we fight that?
like wolves or mountain lions or bears. The people that are fighting it aren't the people that are living with it.
And can you? Okay, just because I've got like, they want to protect the wolves. Is that really their desire?
Yes. And the bear, everything. They want to protect everything, which that's a misunderstanding, right? They don't realize. So Modoc County is 4,200 square miles.
Okay.
We have bears coming into town. We have mountain lions coming into town. Now we have wolves. Our towns have not grown. Like, we build 1, maybe 2 houses a year, if that.
Right.
Our footprint has been the same for 100 years. They have plenty of room to roam, but that's what they say is we're infringing on their habitat.
Yeah.
But they don't have to live with the fear, and that
Yeah.
they don't have to live with it,
Yeah, and we're not urban sprawling.
No.
Like, that's
no.
not
And
actually
even my whole district, like, I mean, I have Sierra County's like 96% public lands, like,
Yeah.
and they had the huge wolf issues this summer, like it's unfortunate because we don't have that people base to have that vote and have those numbers, but it's also why we live here.
Yeah.
So often we just want people to leave us alone. We want the government to leave us alone.
We just do our own thing and take care of it. And
Yeah.
We'll make sure you have your food and your food's food.
Yes. But we are also like built different because of that, I think.
I agree.
Like, we're so much tougher, and
Yeah.
like, we just figure it out because we don't think somebody's coming to rescue us.
No.
And so we make it happen. We figure it out, and we help our neighbors figure it out, or, which is a different mentality.
It is. That means you talk to your neighbor.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
You're going to know your neighbor. What, for constituents who like see an issue and they're concerned, I think sometimes the thing that, not frustrates, but it interests me, and I've been guilty, is that we think we know who we're upset with, whether it's the city or the county, or we go up and and one of the things you hear, like, call your assembly office. Well, wait a minute, Heather's already on your side. Like, what is the best way for people to have a voice if they, have something to say or disagree with something that's happening?
I think with the jurisdiction and the who actually has the power to make it change is always confusing. That's hard. Yeah. But also, if you reach out to our office, we're going to point you in the right direction and get you connected with whoever that might be if it's not us. Yeah. I hate the kick the can expression, so I like my people to just take the extra step and fix it if you can, even if it's not necessarily your lane, but if you know how to fix it, fix it.
Yeah.
It's hard. So since getting this job, I'm amazed at how many people don't understand like how a bill becomes a bill, or who has the power to stop something. We're the super minority. There's 20 of us out of the 80. I need 21 people to vote with me every time.
Wow.
And when I can write a bill, but it might go nowhere. So we have like a bill idea, and we do research, and we talk to all the stakeholders first. I think that's good lawmaking. It doesn't always happen, which is why we have a lot of bad bills. But so we do all that in legwork in the front, and then it goes to Ledge Council, where they make it all the old school writing and harder to understand for people.
Yes, and no
It's
one knows what you're actually
ridiculous.
trying to get past.
Great. Yeah. So, and then it comes back to us, and then we submit it to the assembly desk. Then it gets assigned a committee, or 2 or 3, depending.
Oh.
And the committee chairs are all Democrats, and the vice chairs are all Republicans. That chair has the power to hear that bill or not. So if they don't like that bill, they won't even hear it. It's dead.
They don't even have to hear it.
They don't even have to hear it. So, so you have to have that relationship with them and their staff and all of the other people on the committee,
so that you at least get.
So you can get a hearing and then try to get it voted through.
Yeah.
Then if it costs over $150,000, it has to go to appropriations too and get past that committee, and then it goes to the assembly floor. And then you have to get them to hear it and get the speaker to hear it
Okay.
and brought to the floor. A lot of them die there and they never get heard.
I've heard that one where they get there and they're
Yeah,
like, we're
and
not
they're
even
dead.
gonna.
Yeah. And a lot of that is if you are too vocal or you, I got some hiccups for signing a letter about Pam Bondi investigating some people and I'm like, hey, if you have nothing to hide, you should be okay with being investigated.
So
but
when you sign a letter like that, you sometimes are like, is my next bill?
I have to think about that all the
get
time.
heard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, cause it's a chess game, right?
Yeah.
So you have to think about that
And
all
then
the time.
and then who's going to know you didn't sign that letter and then get upset at you one way or the other?
And sometimes
about
I
that
do
also?
anyway, because it's that I know it's that important for my district. So, like I wrote a letter to the governor last week about the election being pushed back for Congressman LaMalfa's office.
Yeah.
That's probably going to hurt me at some point. We'll see.
Gotcha.
But so then it gets through all those on the assembly floor, and then you have to restart the process on the Senate side
And see if you
and
can
do it
all of
again.
that. Knowing that it's like every time a relationship that's going to even let it get heard.
Yes.
What helps you keep having hope through all those processes?
People. The most, I would say the majority of the people there really care. And I get to know them on a personal level, so they care about me and what I care about, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And on both sides of the aisle. And I have friends that are Democrats. We don't talk about politics.
Certain things.
Yeah.
Right. But you said
and
that
then I
you felt like some of them are more moderate. Do you feel
They
like
are.
there's a reason that you're seeing more moderate or Democrats?
I think either way, like I'm fascinated by why people believe what they believe. And so I ask people that a lot, and a lot of people don't have an answer.
Yeah.
But usually if it's like an extreme belief, it's because they've had a bad experience with whatever that
Something in their life
sector or
happened.
something, and it's personal.
Yeah.
And if only we could take feelings out of our decisions, we would be in a different state. But but that's the beauty of voting. We get to vote for who we want to, and some of those people have more feelings than others.
Yes, people have big, bold feelings.
Big feelings. Yes, it's a lot of feelings there.
Yeah.
But
And there's big, bold feelings on the side of the people who support you too.
yes, yeah.
And sometimes I wonder if they understand that, like, if I do this, are you sure you want me to give up that? You know?
Yeah.
Is there something you would want to say to that?
I think you have to kind of pick when you go down there. And I didn't know that going in, but I think you have to pick. Like, are you going to be on the Capitol steps screaming and arguing and fighting? And you can fight the war. I mean, there's always stuff to yell about and frustrations. And get the TikTok followers and the likes and all that.
Yeah.
Or you can get stuff done and bring it back to your district.
Right.
You can't really have both. There's very few leaders that have been able to do both. I would say James Gallagher is probably one of the only ones I know that has done both.
How do you,
where he
like,
passes some bills and he fights, but he does it in a very strategic way.
Interesting.
And so
It's rare.
yeah, it's rare.
Yeah.
And it's and if I'm going to miss time with my family and be away from home, I want to get stuff done. Like, I mean, we got 6 of our 7 bills signed by the governor.
Yeah, I was going to say, give us your
It was
scorecard
amazing.
for
Oh
your
man,
first year.
I'm still in shock actually. So we got 6 of our 7 bills signed by the governor.
That's absolutely incredible.
We got 10 out of the assembly. I tied with a senior Republican for that.
How many bills does that mean? How many did you start?
17.
Okay.
Yeah. So
17,
10 got through.
10 got through.
And 6 got signed. And that's more than most people, especially freshmen.
Yeah.
I would say most of my colleagues got 1 or 2, and some
That
of them
seems
got
like really good
Some of them
odds.
got none. So,
Wow.
yeah. And then we had budget requests. We brought it was over $1 billion back to the district.
For what kind of things?
So our biggest win was tax exemption on wildfire settlements from everybody from 21 to 24, including the Dixie fire. Those fires have to be exempted by the governor one by one. And for whatever reason, he did not exempt. There was like 5 in our district. And I think of the 8 that were not exempted. It's something they had been fighting for years before me.
Yeah.
And the LA fire really changed the conversation, and I got to go and talk about equity.
It brought that understanding.
And because you can't unfeel that, you can't unsee it. No. And until it's real and in your backyard, it's hard to imagine the devastation. And now they've all seen that. And they can't even imagine a 1,000,000-acre fire. Theirs was 15,000.
Right. I can't. I mean, I was here and
it's
you can't.
horrible.
Right?
Yeah, and that's why we're going to Lake Almenars. We're going to look at the Dixie Fire scar, and we're going to, I'm trying to keep them over one more night to go to Greenville and show them recovery in a rural area because it's so different than
don't
LA.
be the death lady.
Yeah, no, right? I'm going to show them burnt houses instead. Like, it's all so depressing. Yeah, but I'm going to show them mountains and pretty stuff too.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, we got to balance it out. But it, like that was huge for us. That was they estimated $60 to $70 million.
Wow.
For those people, and you as a fire victim, I don't think the average voter knows that you would have to pay taxes on that.
That's wild. It's wild.
And the state should not be making money on fire victims.
No, and it's
that's
from your
wrong.
insurance company that you right?
No, it's from the utilities companies.
Oh, the
typically.
utility. So it's a settlement.
It's a settlement case. Yeah.
Which
yeah.
Attorneys already took their piece.
Their piece. Everybody got a piece,
and then
the
now I'm
state.
going to pay like it was income. It's not income,
No.
and so I can go back and.
Yeah.
That's
so now,
wild.
all that will be corrected, even if they already paid for it. We got.
But it was billions of dollars. That's what's crazy. That would have been taxed.
That would have been taxed. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So the state made $70 million off of taxes off of these fire victims, which is crazy.
Which probably wouldn't come back to our district necessarily.
No.
Yeah, if it had been taxed, like it would have gone to
it would have gone to LA or Bay Area.
Yeah, I'm not crazy, right?
No.
Okay.
No. And then we got about $70 million for Sierra Nevada Conservancy and Tahoe Conservancy for fire mitigation projects and fuels reduction projects. Okay. We got $10 million for the Karuk tribe for a fire resiliency center and happy camp.
Yeah. Wow.
We got $2 million for the wolf crisis and depredation for ranchers. For payment of loss. And that one we had to fight because it wasn't in the governor's budget or the original or the first go of the real budget. Yeah. And we got it in there last minute, and because I was begging and showing pictures, and it was, sometimes it comes to that.
Hey, whatever works.
Whatever works.
Right?
Yes.
You're doing it. And your odds are good, and you're bringing money back to the district.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, when you sit down and you're like, okay, we're going to go into our next, that was my first year.
Yeah. We just started January 5th. So,
right.
Yeah.
So do you go in with like, here's my list of goals. Like, these are the things I want to fight for this time around.
Yes. I think last year we were like, drinking from a fire hose. So
you're just
I'm like
I'm
trying to learn it all. Our staff's all new. We're trying to get each other. Like, it's crazy.
And there must be some moment of like, well, every bill, that sounds like a good idea. And then you have to like, no.
Yeah, you have to rein it in. So we keep a spreadsheet all year of any bill idea because we have meetings. I have meetings every 15 to 30 minutes. It's crazy.
On all different things.
All day. Yeah.
Okay, that has always fascinated me. I'm like, you go from education to like gun laws to like this and like every 15 minutes.
Yeah, and you have to know a little bit about everything. And then if you don't, you have to learn about it to be able to vote on it, wisely. Like, we were talking about glowfish and like genetically modifying pets and unicorns and whatever, and to cannabis and pesticides and
you just vote on all these things.
To AI and to making harsher penalties for pedophiles. Yeah. Like it's crazy the things we talk about all day.
Also, does it go from like, that's just knowledge, oh, that's weird, to like really emotional, to like...
Yes, because you also get people come in there that tell you their story. Yeah. And I think, like, I kind of went off a tangent on the original question you asked.
No, we're fine. That's it's a conversation.
That's the best thing you can do, is tell us your story. Because those stories... Mm-hmm. The stories from actual constituents and bringing people to our district are the only things I've noticed that actually change a vote.
Gotcha.
So when I never know what conversation I'm going to have, right? So I never know what story I'm going to need,
right?
Or what comparison or whatever. So emailing in your stories, like whether it's my kid has to ride the bus for an hour and a half to school, or I caught my kid vaping and I'm so worried about it, and what can we do to stop this vaping epidemic of youth, whatever it is, like it matters. And if it matters to them, it matters to us. So, and we want to help protect it, fight for it, whatever that is, whatever that looks like.
Telling your story is actually more important than being like,
anything.
I'm against, or I'm...
Yeah, and you're going to say that in there. You're going to have
it's
like...
be in your story.
Yeah, it's going to be in the story. So you can go to Cal Ledge Info, and you can look at every bill that's introduced, and you can see all the letters of people that are opposed or for it, all the groups, and you can easily upload a comment on there.
Okay.
And I read them all. My staff reads them all.
Yeah. I see you responding to stuff on Facebook. You try to get to everything.
Yeah,
You probably read them all.
I do.
You respond on here and there.
But I want to stay connected. That's like,
do you feel like
super important
the
for me.
6 bills that you got through here and through here and through here, were those because of story, or do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So all of the bills we've ran were because of somebody brought it to us from the district, or we saw a problem in the district. I think almost all of them were people bringing them to us. So, and some of them were flying again. One of them's from Shasta County Auditor, actually.
Oh, I love it.
And that bill, it died on the floor, or in the Senate side, the state.
Everybody says it like it died.
It passed.
Like,
it died.
Like it died.
It passed, but the state controller was, they wanted us to change some things. So now we're working with them and changing it. And we figured out an avenue to make it work. And it's really that if the state owes you money and then they send you a bill for something, you shouldn't have to pay it. So like the state, I don't even remember the numbers, but it was crazy numbers that the state, I want to say the state owed like Redding, or Shasta County, like $1.3 million or something. And then they did an audit. I want to say it was 1979. I'm hoping I'm not going to be misquoted. And they sent them a bill for $800,000 or whatever.
Yeah. And you're like, well, you owe us this,
and
so
they're
why
like,
are we
yeah,
doing
exactly.
this?
So why are we you are taking years to pay us for things.
Right. So just take it off our tab.
Yeah. Yeah. So
sense.
save us all some time.
Yeah.
So the auditors, of course, were all over it. I mean, CAOs, everybody, it would be great, especially for rural counties, because we don't have that cash flow.
No.
I mean, Shasta County is in a better spot than most.
And it's still in a trying spot.
When you have a county like Modoc that has a $10 million all units budget, or Sierra that's even lower, that 1 million could be a make or break for your county.
Absolutely.
So we're going to run that one again. We're running some youth hunting bills to do youth preference points, because that's a personal pet peeve of mine. My kid's almost 21 and never been drawn in X3B. And where we live, because it's super competitive.
So it makes it more likely he would be?
It gives you, well, not now because he's too old, but if he would have been younger.
Yeah.
But our kids should be able to hunt in their home.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then we're going to do an apprenticeship program like Oregon, where if your mom or dad or grandpa, grandma, aunt or uncle has a tag, the kid could fill it. Because that's what you want. You want those memories with people you want.
Make them
get kids out in the woods.
Yeah.
We're doing a transportation bill to bring the TOT funding up for small cities.
Nice.
So everybody will be brought up to 200,000. Some of these cities only get like 15, 20,000, 40,000. It takes it away from San Francisco or LA, but it's like 0.0000 whatever % of their budget. Wow. They won't even feel it. But it will be life-changing to get some roads fixed in some of these smaller towns, Yeah. We have so many. So I actually just narrowed them down to like 17 today, because we have so many.
That sounds like a good number. Like
yes. So we can only do 35.
So you can do it and do it well. Right?
Yes. Yeah. So, and we look at, is it possible? Like they do a lot of research ahead too, like what's already been ran.
If we're going to spend our time, energy, money on this, is it something that's really going to make it to the end?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and is it really going to fix rural? So some of our, we have an El Dorado County water one. We're looking at a Lassen MUD one for utilities. We're looking some of them are very specific. Last year, one of them was for Alpine County. It has 1,200 people in the whole county, smallest county in the state. And they were so excited.
It's like a high school.
It is. Yeah. But their little county, they have one registered nurse that serves their medically disabled children. So when she goes on vacation, there's no one to do it.
Yeah.
So they wanted to contract with the neighboring county to be able to do that.
Yeah, so our nurse
should not have to be a law, but it has to be a law. The way the funding.
So that was my next question to you. That's wild that it has to be a law,
right? It's crazy.
Okay, but so that's one of my questions. Republicans, one of our things is hey, there's just too much law.
There's so many laws.
So it's kind of wild that your job is to go down there and pass more laws. Like, what do you
Yes.
think about that?
Usually it's because I'm trying to fix something that's already broke.
Is that possible? It's more like, so these new laws just have to fix them.
Yeah.
You can't go back and fix them.
You can. They do it all the time. We're
they do
amending
it?
language or definition or
Okay.
redefining something, expanding it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So one of ours is, so I was the on the Tobacco Coalition for 12 years.
Give us a list of all the things that you're on. Can you do
Oh,
that?
that I was?
Or
Now.
Oh,
Now.
that was before.
That was before, because we're going to run some nicotine tobacco bills. So all the things I'm on. So I'm vice chair of emergency management for a committee. I'm vice chair of ag.
Okay.
I'm on insurance. I'm on business and professions, which is like scope of practice.
and you can't be the top of anything.
No, you can't. A Democrat's always the top. Yeah. So they're in part, the majority party always is the top. So we just haven't been there for a while. But yes, we're working on that. Yeah. And then I'm on budget for education. And so those are my main committees. And then I'm on 12 select committees because they are we can't have a select committee either. So the Dems can have, it's like a pet project committee. So I want one for wildlife conflict, but I can't have one. So
gotcha. So you can just go beyond everything else
I can be on other
might
people's.
touch that.
Yes.
Okay.
So those committees are more for like informational hearings and tours and like just trying to get just have a platform for something that they're passionate about, kind of thing. But they have to have at least one Republican on them, and I'm often the one on there. But it's also that I show up to committees.
Oh.
So
people get on them and not show up?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. Oh. Yeah, or like today, nobody was there because we weren't really voting on anything, and so we had session, and they call out, and they have to have written permission from the speaker to miss, but. It's
so being someone who comes from, like you were talking about how our North State has this like can-do attitude, we're gonna figure it out. Like I totally agree. Like how do we make this work with almost nothing that we have, right? Yeah. Does it feel very different working in Sacramento?
It's so frustrating. And I'm like a worker. Like I like to work. I've always worked too much. It's just my personality.
Yeah.
And it's hard sometimes because not everybody has that same drive.
Ethic. Yeah.
Yeah, an ethic. And not everybody cares. I probably care too much at this point, but
is there such a thing?
Yeah. But it is frustrating. And we have people, one of my colleagues is not running because he's so frustrated with it. And he's like, no, like I own businesses and he's like literally curing cancer right now. Wow. And he comes and he's like, it's such a waste of time and so much theater. Like I can't do it. Mm-hmm. He actually figured out how much it costs us per hour to be on the floor, and between our salaries and all our staff salaries, it's $35,000 an hour, and that's not even the expansion of everything else that's just salary.
So when he figured that out, he went.
Yeah, and then he's like, so then we talk for 2 hours about some resolution that's some political game, or
and nothing gets done.
And we have all this messaging and theater. I call it theater. Yeah, but it's that part. I'm like, don't waste my time. Like,
it is
I want to get stuff done.
Because like I look at even most of the entrepreneurs I know, I've got to respond right away. Yeah. I've got to make things happen. Yeah. I've got to do it right now, or you're not going to work with me.
No, exactly.
And it's wild. I've heard the phrase from someone once, well, government moves slow because it needs to have all the checks and balances to make sure we're representing everyone. And perfect. That's what I was like, what do you think? I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I probably, you're going to get me in
trouble.
Okay,
I won't get you in trouble. We won't answer
I would say that is not true. I think there's more, that's where the politics ruins it, right?
So then how would you measure progress? Like, what do you think?
I think at the end of the year, my progress was that I got bills signed, bills that helped our district and helped people.
Yeah.
I got money back into the district, which is always the goal, right? Mm-hmm. And then we stopped a lot of bad bills that's amazing. We didn't track enough. We're going to track that better this year.
When you say that, like one or two things that you stopped like from happening.
So like AB 84, that was an attack on our charter schools.
Okay. What would it have done?
It would have changed the funding model, and most of our charter schools would have had to close.
Which were a heavy charter school area.
And they're doing a great job. But we have groups that don't like them and very strong unions and lobby groups that
Do they want kids
fight
just
it.
back in public school? Is that the goal? Or?
Yes, but those are public schools too.
Yeah.
But their model, they use there's bad seeds in every sector, and they use those bad seeds as this is what everybody's doing. But then you have these wonderful. I was president of a school board for 5 years for a charter school, and they are spitting out some of the best leaders we've, and not. I'm a big believer in not every kid can learn in a classroom, and you need to find the way your kid learns, and that should be the family's choice.
Right.
I've always believed that. I homeschooled my kids when they were little too. That isn't for everybody, but it should be an option.
Right.
And that makes it not an option. And then when you add our rural location and how, you're not only taking this opportunity away from the kids that it fits their home life and their model, whatever, their learning style. But some of those kids live an hour and a half from town.
Right.
And you're uprooting their entire life. Like they might not have transportation to get in there. So I think charter schools fill holes that our education system has. And I think honestly, we need to step up our game. They're not competition. And if they are, then step up.
Right. It's back to that
Bring
entrepreneur
it.
thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you have
Do
competition, do better.
Yeah.
Raise your standard. What, what's another example of a bill that you feel like you stopped?
So the healthcare one we just stopped. It wanted to unionize all healthcare clinics, and they came and presented to a lot of our clinics, and they were actually offering less benefits, less pay.
Wow.
Like it wasn't a good fit for everybody.
Yeah.
It works in urban areas, doesn't work up here. Those kind of things.
Do you think there's a way to pass bills where it's like this works urban, not here? Because you're passing it for the state. So it's like, how is there ways to navigate that?
It depends on the bill. They're all written differently. So a lot of times they do have like counties listed on them, or it's a pilot program for one county.
Yeah.
I think we definitely have to get more specific in those. It's the blanket stuff that doesn't work for us because we're different. We are so different.
Yeah.
So
we all like, we have this giant state with all this, that, and other, and then no one stops and goes, that might mean there's like,
that might means that not everybody should have electric school buses.
That one always cracks me up.
That and so it's things like that we've been able to find those carve outs. That's kind of where we live legislatively. Like, can we exempt the rural? Can we carve out rural?
Right.
Usually they don't care that much because we're such a little piece of the pie that they're not going to lose a ton of money and. But then you're always careful, but if we carve it out, are we going to miss out on anything? Yes, true.
Right.
Yeah. So, and we have to balance that and see. And that's where staying connected to the people that actually live here and do the job. It drives my staff crazy, I think, but I text people on almost every vote. I text whoever it's going to affect. And if I don't know somebody, I know somebody that knows somebody that actually does that job. And I want them to read it because they're going to find, and we found stuff that.
No. This is so
different.
So true. So being one that's come up a couple times for me, it's coming up right now. I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm not. But the one where you're supposed to be able to take your tax basis when you're over a certain age from your county to your new home, right? Literally, when you call the counties, they're like, we don't know, and I won't name counties. We don't know how to implement this. So the problem is,
so much.
Even if there was great intent up here, if no one did text or check on down here, then people are asking me can you help me do this? And I'm like, the counties don't even know how to. I'd love to, but I'm not, and they don't even know how to do it.
Yeah.
So if you don't ask the person all the way down, the sad part is even with great intention or a great bill passing, if it can't trickle down to the actual usage, there's no point.
Yeah, I agree. And it happens a lot. A lot of these programs that it might get voted in, and it's not. So ethnic studies, that bill passed a couple years ago.
Okay.
And it was with appropriation. So the governor has to put it in his budget, and he hasn't yet.
I was going to say, so it can pass and not get funded too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you can pass a law, and it could be something fabulous. And if it doesn't get put in the budget, then it doesn't happen. Or if that...
And they just don't have to.
And they don't have to, which is also crazy.
Weird.
But also sometimes better. I don't. It just depends. But, but you had schools that ethnic studies was told, these county office of ed and districts are told, we have to offer this for a elective.
Okay.
They're looking at curriculum, they're buying curriculum, they're figuring out teachers, schedules,
They're
all
like,
these
this
things.
is a law. I've got to go
all
do
these things.
this.
Yeah, it goes into effect this date, and then then they don't fund it. So then they don't have to do it, and then they have to change everything, and they're already out the money. So
then they've spent money.
yeah, and then they've spent money, and it's just we're backwards that way, you know.
And some of these schools
and it's a
don't
waste
have-
of time, and they don't have the time or the capacity to do that. And
No. We won't go into education because teachers are doing things that they
yes.
shouldn't even have to be doing.
Teachers
and
are
that's a whole nother topic.
Yes.
For another
They're
podcast.
superheroes.
Yeah. I have 2 daughters going to school to become teachers right now, and one of them's been an aide for 2 years at one of the hardest schools here, and her stories are
It's so heartbreaking.
wildly actually heartbreaking. At first you're like, what? And then you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And for her to turn around and be like, so I'm going to become a teacher. I've been like, you're a superhero.
Yeah.
You're totally
Yeah.
right. And yeah, anyways, that's a whole nother topic. That being said, so going into this next year, you're looking at these bills and stuff, but is there like a couple of main things that you're like feeling extra passionate about going into this year?
Wolves. We're gonna have 2 bills for wolves to try to bring some relief and some transparency between the agencies and some accountability that needs to be there. We're focused on some rural carve-outs for there was an SB 88 that was a bus driver bill that's kind of killing our rural districts.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do a
it
carve-out for
affected
that.
like so Taborka, who works for you, he coaches for a softball team, and they've always taken the bus and taken the kids. I think it's the same. It's okay.
Yeah, it
so they
limits the miles you can go. It
well,
limits,
they have to go far to go play,
'cause
and now they're like, we have to stop and
take a break.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Makes
and
no
it's not
sense for
fair.
us.
No. And you have like ag teachers that have they might have 2 or 3 trips that week. Like and I get the intent of it. I just this is where they don't understand.
It's safety, right? So you sleep.
Yeah,
and that
so
you're
you sleep and you're not.
Yeah.
But it also isn't like reasonable.
No.
So and they don't realize. I'm telling them like I drive 4.5 hours one way for a game. That's not normal for them, you know.
Hey, like sometimes when you have a specialty doctor up here, you're going to drive 2.5 hours to the doctor and turn right around and come home. That's like
in one
not
day.
a big deal for us.
Like if it's 4 hours, I'm going in one day. I'm not staying the night.
Same.
Typically.
And if it's within 4 hours, I'm not even going to try to fly. Like I'm just going to drive. Like yeah.
So it
What's
we
the
have
rule?
that.
What is the rule on that one? It's how many hours?
I don't remember. I don't remember the specifics.
But it was silly. We were like, how are you going to get to any of your games?
No, it's just not feasible. So we have a carve out for that. I'm very passionate about tobacco use for our youth. And I'm shocked that nobody's talking about it down there. And it actually just made me mad.
Interesting.
They like athletes are drug tested randomly in high school. They're not tested for nicotine. And that's crazy to me. I was I taught the class, the diversion class, if you got caught at school, and parents, we made the parents come for part of it. And the average age of our kids that were getting caught was that when they started was 10. And the kids would estimate that 80% of their school was vaping, which is crazy. And we don't know enough about it. It's so scary. It's 90% of the vapes that are out there are from China. They're not FDA approved. They can put whatever they want in them.
There.
And then
they look fun, and they the principal of Shasta High School brought a whole bunch to a city, and he's like, look at these are all what I took off kids this week, and it was wild.
It's crazy, and so I would confiscate them all too, because there's a school can't. It's considered hazardous waste, so they can't just throw them in the trash. So we actually had a bill to try to get them to be able to throw it in the trash, but
that's wild.
That was my one that didn't get signed. But now that we got it fixed,
they can't throw it in the trash.
It was to change them to household waste, like an exemption that they could be household waste for that.
That was the one that didn't get signed.
That was the one that did get signed. But we're gonna redo it. But we're also talking about doing a ban on the disguised vapes that are like highlighters and hoodies.
Exactly.
USB ports, key fobs that are sketchy and shady and obviously marketed to kids to hide them when we're not supposed to be marketing to kids. But and so we're looking at that and then increasing the penalties, because if you sell these, the penalties I was going to say
$500.
$500 penalty, and I think it goes up to $1,000 or something, and then you might lose your license for 30 days, and that's ridiculous.
They're making so much
They're
money.
making so much money.
Yeah.
But and of that 90% that comes from China, this is like the only thing that resonated with our kids was the China stuff. Like they didn't like that.
They didn't like it.
But of that, the illicit tobacco market, it funds 12% of the Chinese economy, like the Chinese government.
No way.
It's crazy. But
That
it's a
is
brilliant
crazy.
long plan because they're killing our kids and getting them
Yeah.
addicted to this stuff and ruining their brain development
And then
all
making
these
a
things.
bunch of money off
and
of
then
us.
in turn training their people, you know, like
Yeah.
and funding their whatever project. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm
So,
like,
it's very
my
frustrating.
mind is
So
blown right now.
yeah. So we have a couple bills for that stuff. Wolves is our forefront, and then I have a ton of budget asks. I feel like I should get extra because I have 11 counties. So I have
mean,
so
it would
many
feel
different.
that way.
I have so many
How do you
different.
turn it into fact for them, right?
Yes, yeah. So we're we've been working with Sheriff Johnson here to try to help get money for the alternative
Awesome.
custody campus.
Yep.
And make that a pilot project that kind of shows the rest of the state, like, hey, this could be done and this works. So we're really pushing that. Anderson Police Department needs a new new office.
Yes, I've heard about that.
Yes. So we've
Okay.
been working on that one.
Okay.
Lassen, I have a lot of public safety ones this year. So
Yeah.
Lassen County Jail needs ADA upgrades.
Okay.
Nevada County needs a little bit too. So we're trying to put those together. We have some school stuff for, like, I think we have 3 different schools that are in dire need of some maintenance and have
Gotcha.
asbestos or mold or something. Let's see. We had so many. I'm really bad at.
No,
I'm like, yeah,
you're
let's do it. Let's write a
nailing
letter.
it 10,
And
10.
yeah,
So your passions are kind of all over, like with what
they are because rural.
The main
is,
thing just can't be the main thing.
It can't.
It's so
and
many
my
things.
staff's like, we need to narrow our focus, and I'm like,
It all
but
needs to
rural
happen.
is we're challenged in everything.
Yeah.
Like we have a harder time in everything. So
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part is like you pick those things that you think will make the biggest impact.
And there's a lot to impact.
And there's a
here.
lot. Like,
Yeah.
because one little change could change that community, you know?
It really
so
could. Yeah.
that actually it's not something I take lightly. And we really try to get the biggest bang for our buck kind of thing.
Yeah.
With staff time and focus and
Which is smart because you have a small staff.
yes,
And not a big budget.
small, amazing staff. Yeah. Yes.
Well, they seem to really care.
They do.
For like, there's so much misinformation or other things out there. If someone was like, I really want to follow Heather and what she's doing, like, what would you recommend for them to do?
So you can go to our Assembly webpage and sign up for a newsletter. Every Friday we send out a thing. It doesn't even have everything we do because we tried starting that way, and then apparently we're doing too much. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
So we've pared it down.
Yeah.
So it's not quite the read that it was, but that gives you a good idea of what's happening. And then we put on there like the calls to action, like, hey, this bill's coming. Please, send your comments in. A lot of times with state, we can't say if
guys
you
are really
oppose this,
restricted
or
in what you're-
really
yeah.
restricted on what we can say. So,
Yeah.
So you might see like, hey, have your voice heard, and it won't say either way, but usually people can tell what way we're leaning. But those calls to action are really important for us.
Okay.
We need that public feedback and pressure, especially to stop things. And that, unfortunately, is one of our biggest fights down there, is to stop the things that are going to cripple rural
It's
California.
stopping things more than like
Yeah.
being pro things.
Yeah. So it's a lot of just conversations and hunting people down in the elevator and, sitting by them on a plane to New York or whatever.
Well, yeah.
you
And
know?
I'm glad that you're doing that instead of being like, I'd be better off just not doing this anymore.
Yes.
Okay. Fun pop quiz. How
Okay.
does Heather, these long drives, what do you do? Like, what are you listening to? What keeps you going?
I listen to a lot of Audible books and podcasts. I'm
Okay.
addicted to Mel Robbins right now.
Really?
Yeah, the Let Them
The Let
series.
Them. Okay.
I I really want to just meet her and chat. But
Okay.
so we a lot of that, and then murder mystery books because they keep me awake if I'm tired.
Oh my gosh. I think the Dally said they're listening to those too. You guys, that's hilarious. Okay.
Sometimes I have to switch because they get a little too scary, and some of the roads I'm on, I'm like, this is how scary movies start.
Start
Like,
hearing
what am I
banjos.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go back and forth. And then a lot of call time. So
Phone
calling. It's crazy how many people you have to call. So I always have a list of people I need to call or connect with or whatever. And so
While you're
lots of
driving.
call time. Yeah.
That's what
And
you do.
fundraising call
That's
time.
what you do. Okay.
Yeah.
I asked how the kids have done with it all. How's your hubby doing with it all?
He's a rock star.
I love Brian. He's great.
He is great. Usually people love him better than me. Sacramento loves him.
I didn't say that because
Okay.
you know why I'm not going to say it. Everyone does that with my husband. They're
Yeah,
like, we
right?
loved him. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, like I know he's great.
You like me
I
too,
picked
right?
him.
Yeah. So I'm great.
yeah. No, he's doing great. It is a big adjustment.
Yeah.
And he has had to step up in ways he's never had to step up before in that, house stuff and life stuff. But we're doing it. We're making it happen. And he comes down there too. And so he gets some perks out of it too. Like I drag him along to conferences or whatever,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Did you see it coming? Did you know you would ever do this?
no, I would have laughed at you if you told me this was my life
What
few
made
years
you
ago.
say yes?
I think we prayed about it a lot, and it just felt like this was like a next step to really serve. And it really is. It's a whole nother level of service. And I'm a big believer that God puts you where he wants you, and he hasn't led me astray yet. So
Yeah.
I just kind of go with the flow and give it to him, and it's worked for me so far. Sometimes I wish he didn't trust me so much. I'm like,
Yeah,
ooh,
that's
you're really
real.
challenging me. but it's made it opens you and your family up to criticism and judgment, and
Yeah.
you're in a way that I hadn't had before. That was hard, very hard.
Yeah.
But it was it also made us realize how much good we've done in the world too, because you really have to
That's what I was going to
talk
ask.
about
What
yourself
did you guys
and,
learn
like-
from it? Yeah.
Yeah, so it brought us tighter, I think.
Yeah.
And I just really want to use this time I have in office to make sure that I can connect people with other people, or mentor people, whatever that is, and just do some good, right? Like that's what we're supposed to be here for.
Yeah. And hold
Do
back
some
the
good.
bad.
Yes. Yeah. Stop the bad. Unfortunately, there's a little more than there should be some years, and it's an election year, so there's probably a lot of bad coming.
Here we go.
Bill wise.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go.
So,
well,
we'll see.
anything else you want to share before we wrap up today?
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks
it was
for
fun.
Yeah.
I now get like my job is just to talk to people. It's so weird. I just talk all the time.
That's pretty
But
awesome.
It's a good part, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Talk and drive.
But you know what? Some people could just talk to people and they don't know what to take out of that and what to take with them and what
Yeah.
to fight for from it. And
Yeah.
so there's a difference.
There
and I
is,
think
yeah.
that's when you're voting for someone, you want to know that they're going to do the job. But when they talk to people, it won't just be lip service. It's been
Yes.
taken to heart. And just
Yes.
your track record speaks for the fact that you took that and you took their voice and amplified it in a way that actually resonated and made a difference. So
Thank you.
thank you for
I'm
serving.
trying.